Thank you so much for inviting me to the dinner at Houston. I've been here once before and I had just a marvelous time. Y'all so friendly and kind and generous, and thank you so much for that. And also I want to thank you for the most useful word in my vocabulary, y'all. Yeah, I use it all the time and I find it to be an extremely useful word. Also, I sound a little like a frog tonight. If you know me at all, you know I was born and raised in Wyoming. We have like no trees there, so I didn't know that I had an allergy to tree pollen until I started to travel. Y'all have way too much vegetation here. Thank you. So I'm a little froggy and a little stuffy, and I apologize for that. At least I don't sound like Minnie Mouse tonight, so that's good. You know, I feel so privileged when I have the opportunity to speak to you in this room tonight. Dennis used to say to me, don't you wish you could ever have an audience that wasn't the choir? And I said, well, it would be great to be able to speak to people who really need to learn the lesson, but they don't laugh at my jokes. And the choir always laughs at my jokes. So no, I like speaking to the choir. Plus, they get what I'm talking about. They get where I'm coming from, and they understand totally that this is more than. To me, this has become so much more than grieving Matt's loss. Every day, it's part of me. It's part of what I do. He's right here in my heart. But what it is now is making it better for everybody else. It's making sure that all those rights are there for everybody else, that I'm still with Matt and his community and his friends. I remember having a discussion with him in the summer of '98 when he was talking about the marriage initiative in Hawaii, and he said, do you think we will ever be allowed to marry? And I said, not in my lifetime, but I'm sure in your lifetime it will happen. Things are changing very quickly. Ironically, it turned out to be in my lifetime and not his. But the advancements we've made, yeah, yay, Massachusetts. The advancements we've made in the last 10 years are huge, and we've taken some steps back, and we've been kind of stuck in the middle. And thank you, President Bush, for that. Thank y'all for that. Yeah, I'm sorry. We aren't stuck anymore. We have the leadership of Joe to help us get there. We know what can be done. The rapport in Congress with Joe and the other lobbyists at HRC are just stellar. I had a wonderful opportunity to work with them when we were working on the hate crime bill with Senator Kennedy and Senator Smith. It's been an enormously learning experience for me. One thing I do know now is I definitely do not want to be a lobbyist in my future career. I'm nearly not that patient nor smart to do that, but they are, and that's what they do, and that's why we're here tonight, is to celebrate the work that they do for us on the Hill. It is extremely challenging and I think frequently misrepresented in the press, the way it is so challenging, the way that people think that we should just be able to force people to vote the way we want them to, actually the way they tell us they will, and then they change their mind along the way. It just doesn't really work that easy. It's not that smooth. I wish it was. Things would have changed a long time ago had that been the case. But I've been a witness to representatives who actually talk out of both sides of the mouth at the same time, and you never really know where you stand. But HRC's built a wonderful rapport with them, and I commend them for that. And I commend all of you for understanding how important it is to support them, even when the press begins to rail at them for things they don't understand. We have an important message, an important job to keep morale up and the information correct. And that's really our job as members of HRC, and part of my job as a member of the Board of Directors, the Foundation Board, Board of Governors, all of you, we have a job to maintain that honesty and that sincerity. We have to talk to people. We have to tell our stories. We have to be genuine, authentic about who we are. We come to these events and we feel all good about ourselves and think, well, we're giving money to a great cause and we're having a good time with our friends, and then we leave, and then what do? Do we continue to work? Do we rest on our laurels? Do we talk to people? Do we tell our stories to our family and friends again so they know who to vote for and how to support us? We talk about the presidential election like if we elect just the right president, that everything will be okay. Okay, we've been in this game long enough to know that that's just really not the case. Yes, we need the president to spearhead everything and to allow everything to go through, to not veto, to not send back, to not talk about us in a negative way in the public eye, as Bush has done to us in the last 8 years, which we, by the way, have tolerated. We've let him do that to us, you know. We've let him do it. I don't know why we thought that that was okay. But we've sat here in our chairs and our tuxedos and let him do that. Okay, well, I'm tired of that. I don't want to do that anymore. We're going to have a new president, but we need a Congress that's going to back them up. So when you vote, not only do you have to think about the candidate you're voting for, but you need to think about who you're going to vote for to support them when they're there. Your senators, your congressmen, and even your state legislators. You need to pay attention to what's going on. And I'm not telling you anything you don't all already know. But the presidential election is not the be-all, end-all to our situation. And neither is allowing same-sex couples to marry. We have a lot of things we need to get done before we reach the pinnacle. That isn't going to change everything for you. Marriage is not going to change everything for you. We have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of education that needs to be done, particularly around the transgender issue. And we need all of you to support what HRC does and to talk in a way that shows your knowledge of the situation. We need the right information out there. I don't know how many times I've gone to a college campus and people say to me, well, HRC just deserted the transgender issue. And it's like, well, no, not really. They didn't do that at all. Did you read their policy? Have you read their website? Do you go there? Do you listen? Or are you just listening to the hype that the popular press is giving you misinformation? Y'all need to back up what's happening everywhere, in every situation that happens. I don't need to stand up here and tell you things that you already know intellectually. My job is to remind you emotionally that we have a lot of work to do. Joe is a brilliant spokesperson on everything that HRC does and wants to do and intends to do and accomplish. My job is to remind you that hate is still a major issue in our country, and not just gay, lesbian, but racial and religious. It's all over the place, and we need to address hate for what it is. I really think that that hate comes from ignorance, and that puts us upon us to tell the stories of our lives and our situations. If we think we come out and we only have to do it once, y'all know that's totally not the truth. You have to do it every day, but you really do have to do it every day. Because in places where there are not cosmopolitan areas, like rural Texas or Wyoming, when you talk about gay people, the image that comes to mind is the village people. Not the insurance salesman or the pastor or the policeman or the fireman or the grocer or your neighbor. It's the village people. You have to be the role models that everybody else sees, that they know and love and respect already. They have to know who you are. You've got to share, you've got to talk. You can't put yourself in isolation, in a bubble. If you think because you're in a safe job now or you're living in a community where you're known and loved and respected, and then we're forgetting about all the others who live in Turkey Neck, Indiana, for example, who have nothing. Their whole life is in fear. Young people who think they're the only gay people in the world, the only gay people in their state, their community. Well, that's not true either, but they have no access to different information. We need to take care of them too. And that starts with hate crime legislation, federal and state, and to make sure that it's enforced. This is the 10th year of Matt's passing. October 2008 will be the 10th 10th year. The 10th, I hate to use the word anniversary. It seems celebratory, but it's an observance that is important and critical to the community and to us as a family. That 10 years have gone by, and we've seen some change, but not really much progress, or we've seen progress, but really not much change. I guess that depends on how you look at it. I think we've made great quantifiable progress in the grassroots level. Legislatively, not so much, and that's our next task. But we need to change hearts and minds, just as importantly. And the way to do that is to be authentic to who you are all the time. Thanks. So there's just one more thing I want to leave you with before I leave the podium, other than to congratulate the co-chairs for the Houston Dinner for a beautiful event. I have a personal thing that I want to throw out to you. If anybody out there needs a safety director with 30 years experience, could you help me bring my husband home, please? And at that, I will leave you to have a wonderful evening. Thank you.